Well, golly, this is probably the toughest issue to get through. It's probably the most controversial issue. It was referred to the ballot by the City Council by a vote of 4-1. 4-1. And I voted against referring it to the ballot. I voted against referring to the ballot because what it really did was there was some language in there that really limited the City Council, the future City Council, to be able to find good partnerships on the western tunnel here, the tunnel that might be under the Highland wires and might not necessarily be on Lone Tree's property. And I didn't like the restrictive language on it, and so I went ahead and said, no, I don't want to vote for it, and I didn't. So it went up 4-1. Let me tell you a couple things that have happened since that time. Since that time, I called upon my friends. I've talked about relationship playing. Talked about my friends, called my friends at the Douglas County Commissioners, Melanie and Jack and Steve Bowen. And Steve Bowen and Jack got together and brought together their staff. I brought together the Highlands Ranch staff, the Lone Tree staff, and the South Suburban staff. Not just their technical staff directors, but I also brought board of directors and executive directors and commissioners together. We had an hour meeting in Douglas County, and at the end of the meeting, Douglas County's Director of Parks, Ron Benson, said, you know what, Elton? He said, the tunnel that you guys are talking about over there underneath the Highline wire is called the Wildcat Trail. He said, that tunnel, from a view from 50,000 feet, is the most important trail connector we, Douglas County, have in all of Douglas County. And I was absolutely thrilled to have him say that because that's what I believed. And a lot of us believed that the connection was important. And he said, Elton, we're going to take that project on. We are going to be the project manager. We, Douglas County, need to study this because, frankly, it's the most important connector because it takes everything on the north and brings it across Lincoln in a safe manner, and it allows us to go clear up to the bluffs. And the bluffs, as everybody knows, is the jewel of Lone Tree. And he said, number two, the reason it's very important is because even though it's not a crosswalk over Lincoln, it's the most dangerous crossing over Lincoln that we have in all of Douglas County because everybody crosses there and traffic is going across there at 45 and 50 miles an hour. So here we went through this whole stuff on 2C. I'm not supporting it. I didn't support it to refer it. I'm not going to support it here. You know, Jim wants to go ahead and support it. He's supporting 2C. He's willing to spend taxpayers' money to support it. Here's my goal. There's one more tunnel we need to build. We'll let Douglas do the one underneath the Highline wires, figure out what they need to do. We have another tunnel over by the Heidi's, right behind Lone Tree Elementary. There's a trail that veers over. And in the next 5 to 10 years, when we have that built, people are going to say, man, there were visionaries on this council. But the way I look at it, it's a $3 million project. Do you know what? This year, at the end of 2008, we are going to have a $3 million surplus. Now, we don't call it surplus. Council calls it working reserve. So a lot of people don't know what that means. What that means is $3 million surplus, and we should take $1 million of that and try to buy the property, or $500,000, or whatever it takes to buy the property, because we don't own the property, and work on getting the property acquired for the eastern tunnel this year in 2008. And then what we can do next year for 2009 when we budget, and 10, just go ahead and budget to build the tunnel. We don't need to raise taxes for a $3 million project. Let me repeat myself. We don't need to raise taxes for a $3 million project. How stupid were we to put that on the ballot? Well, I'll tell you, in all fairness, we were rushed to get these things through. We had a lot of things going on, and we couldn't get it differentiated, so it wasn't really stupidity. It was just it was an error in judgment that people make these days. Politicians always make errors in judgment. Fortunately, I didn't. I'm voting no on 2C. We don't need to raise your taxes. Jim is supporting it. He wants to take public taxes, raise your taxes, and build the tunnel. Come on, give me a break. That's where I'm at. Thanks.